Help support the show by joining the Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. Also, hit that like button and subscribe if you want more Browns-focused content. This is going to be a different episode of Hot Takes. Usually, I bring in a bunch of comments, I react to these comments, but I have one take that's been kind of burning inside of me over the last couple of weeks, and maybe it's not going to sound like the hottest take in the world, but it is a take that I expect people to agree with it broadly. But then once you really get into the details of it, people are going to have like all kind of disagreements, right? It's going to make certain people mad. I'm going to be called a hater of one player, be accused of being a stan of another player, and then somebody's going to accuse me of being a hater of that same player I just got accused of being a stan of, right? Like, I understand how people are reacting right now to the Browns quarterback room, and I'm not really a big fan of it. And I don't think most Browns fans, by the way, are in this camp, right? Like, most Browns fans feel the same way or feel similarly to me. I just want the Browns to be better at quarterback. I think that's like the basis of where everybody's at. I just want the Browns to be better at quarterback. I want them to actually have one by the start of the 2027 season. I think the thing that makes me a little bit different than some Browns fans, especially some online Browns fans, is I don't care truly who gets the job done. I just want the job to get done. There are a lot of folks who are very invested on who gets that job done, to the point to where anything other than the person that they're behind right now getting the job done will feel like a failure, right? There are a lot of Shedeur fans that if Dylan Gabriel ended up being Brock Purdy for the Cleveland Browns would be very upset and would demand that Shedeur get a chance, even though it's obvious that Dylan would be the starter, right? Like, if we were in that kind of a situation. And vice versa. There's a lot of anti-Sanders people who would be furious if Shedeur Sanders ended up being the franchise quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. There's a lot of people right now who would be upset if the guy that the Browns have that becomes a franchise quarterback is somebody in the 2026 draft class, right? Sanders fans and Dylan Gabriel supporters at this point, right? They would be upset. Oh, the Browns aren't even giving them a shot, right? Where I don't want to be at right now with the Cleveland Browns is in a position where I'm going to be upset if they find a quarterback. I think that is the worst position to be in as somebody who cares about the Cleveland Browns. Me personally, I would hate to be in that position. I've waited for this team to get a quarterback my entire life. And if the team finally gets a quarterback, I'm sitting here salty about it because it's not the guy I originally envisioned. I don't know how you don't feel like a dumbass at that point. Like, no disrespect. I'm just saying, like, if you've been waiting for this as long as I have, Browns came back in 1999, pretty much my entire life, right? I was born in 95. The Browns weren't around the first 4 years of my life. I've been waiting for this moment in my whole life. And I'm going to poo-poo on it because it's not the guy that I jacked up the stats in Madden, got really excited about. Like, is that really what I'm about to do? But that's what a lot of people are setting themselves up to do. Now, I can't speak for what football fandom was like before the internet, right? Again, I was born in 1995, which means most of my life I had access to the internet, and a lot of my Browns fandom has always been on the internet, right? Not necessarily like I wasn't on Browns forums as a kid, like I was talking about the Browns with other people, but how I was getting information about the Browns was on the internet, right? I would go to ESPN Cleveland's website. They used to have a flash player where we could download like the radio clips that they would post. And that's how I would keep up with the Browns and keep up with local radio. I would go to this is going to make me sound old, but whatever. I used to have to go to the library to download those audio clips. And then I would load them into like either my MP3 or put them in a flash drive so I could put them into my MP3 later to be able to listen to that. Like, that's what we used to have to do back in the day if we wanted to listen to our podcast, y'all. For those younger than me, That definitely had to go down. Like you had to go to the library because I ain't even had dial up in my apartment, my mom's apartment growing up. Did we eventually got DSL by the time I was in high school. But yeah, trip down memory lane. We've all wanted the Browns to fix this quarterback problem for a long time. When it looked like it could be Baker Mayfield, I think nobody had issues getting behind that, right? I think there was fairly universal things. Now, when Baker Mayfield's play started to go up and down, and the opinion on whether he was the guy or not started to change, that's where it got a little controversial with Baker. But, you know, when 2018, everybody was behind him. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's emergence has really done a lot to split the fan base and really separate Browns fans into different camps and really getting used to being separated into these different camps to the point to where, like, naturally it feels like some Browns fans felt the need to pick a side here, right? There are some Kenny Pickett diehards. There's not a lot of Kenny Pickett diehards, but there are some. I hear from them every day. They don't like me very much, right? There are Dylan Gabriel diehards. Again, they don't like me very much. There are definitely Shedeur Sanders diehards. They really don't like me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it says something to my coverage being pretty fair that every single quarterback stand base has some issue with me. Joe Flacco fans, the diehard Joe Flacco fans in the comment section, they hate the fact that I don't think he can play 17 games. I think that's pretty objective at this point that Joe Flacco should not be expected to play 17 games. Kenny Pickett fans, they don't like that I'm not a big fan of anything he's ever done in his career. You know, they want me to value some of the shit he did in Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh didn't even value it. So why would I sit here and be like, oh, Kenny Pickett's a steal? That's ridiculous. Dylan Gabriel fans can't let go of the fact that man's short. That man's short, that's going to be a problem in the NFL. We'll see if he can overcome it, but the man's short. And the Shedeur Sanders fans just don't like that I'm not all the way in with Shedeur Sanders. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be Tom Brady. That, to me, is ridiculous, right? I don't even think that's good for Shedeur to be out here trying to hype him up like he's the next Tom Brady. You know, that's setting him up for a lot of, like, blowback in the future that he doesn't even do anything to deserve at this point. But anyways, all these fan bases got an issue with me because I won't fully get behind their king. It's silly to me. I don't care which one of these guys gives the Browns 17 games of quality quarterback play. If it's Kenny Pickett, yeah, did I think he couldn't do it with the Cleveland Browns? I think he was trash. I talked shit about Kenny Pickett all his time in Pittsburgh. Yeah, but hey, look, if he could put it together in Cleveland, be a franchise quarterback for us, put us in a much better situation. Okay. I ain't gonna lie about him. You know what I mean? If he playing good, he playing good. If he not playing good, I'm gonna talk about him not playing good. But, you know, cool. I ain't gonna be mad. I ain't gonna be in my feelings about that. If it's Dylan Gabriel and he does find a way to overcome being 5'11" in the NFL at the quarterback position, which is very hard to do, hey, good on Dylan. He figured it out. We got a guy, right? He's the next Russell Wilson. Who knows? Like, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be sitting here like, oh, man, I lost the argument. I have to be mad about this forever. And if Shedeur Sanders, by the grace of God, ends up being the next Tom Brady, then cool. I'll give you all the credit in the world for being early on that. I don't care. I just want the Browns quarterback room to be good by 2027. I want them to have a franchise quarter. I am so tired of arguing about different hypothetical situations and which one's going to be better and which one you're an idiot for not getting behind earlier and all this stuff. I don't care. I just want one of these guys to be good. I want one of these options to pay off, whether it's the draft, whether it's Shedeur, whether it's Dylan, whether it's Kenny. I don't care how it gets solved. I just care that it gets solved. I'm not emotionally invested in the idea of Kenny Pickett being the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Could care less, right? If he stinks, he stinks. We can cut him tomorrow. I'm good. Right? I'm not emotionally invested in Dylan Gabriel winning this job. If he doesn't get the starting job because he's not that good, then okay. Same thing with Shedeur Sanders. I have no emotional investment in any of these quarterbacks because they don't really deserve that at this point because they haven't proven that they can be the quarterback of this team yet. Once they've proven and put together a long track record of like, hey, look what this guy did in the playoffs. Okay, then we can start talking about having faith and loyalty to a certain player because of what they've done in a Cleveland Browns uniform. But until you've done that, it don't mean jack shit. I mean, Deshaun Watson had all kind of NFL accolades. It meant nothing to Cleveland fans because none of those accolades were accomplished in a Cleveland Browns uniform. And you could look at this in the opposite direction because all of the, like you look at the Baker Mayfield loyalty that will exist forever in Cleveland, whether people like that or not, that's going to exist because Baker Mayfield did do good things, accomplish some things in a Cleveland Browns uniform. And then outside the uniform, he also did some good things. So people are going to be like, yeah, look at that guy. He's done more for me at quarterback than any other quarterback the Cleveland Browns have had. I don't care about what these guys did in college. I don't care about what Kenny Pickett did in Pittsburgh. I don't care that Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl MVP when I was in high school. I don't care. I don't care. What are they going to do in the Cleveland Browns uniform? That is the only way you're going to earn, the benefit of the doubt and trust and loyalty out of Browns fans is what you do in a uniform. You know why Nick Chubb has the undying loyalty of Browns fans? Because he's done incredible shit in the Cleveland Browns uniform. Myles Garrett has loyalty by Cleveland Browns fans because he's done incredible shit in the Cleveland Browns uniform. That's what earns you that loyalty and trust within the fan base, any fan base. It's not about what you did in college. Nobody cares. It's not about what you did in maybe in the training camp or preseason. Nobody cares. It's about what you do in the regular season, right? But people are digging in as if Shedeur Sanders has done anything in the NFL, or Dylan Gabriel has done anything in the NFL, or Kenny Pickett has done anything in the NFL with the Cleveland Browns. The only guy on this roster right now who's done anything for the Cleveland Browns is Joe Flacco. Now, there's a lot of good to talk about with what Joe Flacco did in 2023. There's also some bad. He threw too many pick sixes. Maybe that was because of the offensive line. Maybe that was because of the lack of run game. But we know that Joe Flacco be throwing a lot of interceptions, and he's old now. So even with Joe, there's still a lot to look at where you're like, damn, can we do better than this? That's where I want to be at. I want to be at a good place at quarterback. I don't want to be sitting here in 2027 having the same debate about third round and fourth round quarterbacks that we've accumulated over the last couple of years. I want to have an answer by the 2027 season. I don't care who that answer is. Now, this might be the position of most Browns fans. I don't know. I can only speak to the Browns fans that I've interacted with, and most of those people are online because of the nature of what my job is, right? So maybe most Browns fans are in the same place that I'm at. I wouldn't be surprised. Browns fans just want to win football games. That's it. They just want to win football games. They want to feel some pride in the Cleveland Browns. I understand it. I feel it. That's what I want too. And that's why I don't care what number jersey, who's the guy that's bringing the quarterback play up. And I've fallen into this trap before. I'm not trying to speak like I've always been better than this. I've fallen into the trap before, right? I remember when I was a kid, I think just out of high school. Yeah, I was in college. And I was like furious at the Browns continuing to start Brian Hoyer after we drafted Johnny Manziel. I wanted Johnny Manziel to be the guy that led the Browns back to promise. And in the season with the shit when we put Johnny Manziel at, right? Like, I've been in these situations where you want it to happen for a player so bad because you're a fan of that player, just like you're a fan of the Cleveland Browns, and you want these two things to happen at the same time. But I'm telling you right now, you would enjoy it more if you let go of that shit now. And I'm speaking as somebody who has made this mistake in the past, right? You will feel a lot better if you just let that shit go. Yeah, do you think this guy has a better chance to be the starting quarterback? Yeah. Like if you ask me right now, of the four quarterbacks that the Browns have on the roster, who do I think has the best chance to be a starter for long term? I would say Shedeur Sanders for a number of reasons. I talked about that before. But if it doesn't end up being Shedeur Sanders, it's not that big of a deal because I'm not emotionally attached to being correct on that. That's just my opinion. Knowing that, hey, look, football has a lot of variables. There's a lot of unknowns. It's real easy to be wrong about a prediction in football. So I'm not going to be emotionally attached to that prediction. It's just what I think. But if what I think changes because I get more evidence from other players, then it changes. It's not a big deal. Because at the end of the day, if it makes the Browns better, that's what I care about. Now, if you are related to Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel or Kenny Pickett or Joe Flacco, I understand why that would be the route you go, right? If like you related to one of these guys, cool. I ain't gonna say nothing to you. Go hard for your family. Because I know if I had a cousin that was a quarterback for the Browns, I want my cousin to start. Like, I ain't got no cousins that can start for the Browns anytime soon, but I'd be excited. I want that to happen. I'll be out here, fighting the good fight, right? But ain't none of y'all Shedeur cousins. Okay, most of y'all don't know Shedeur. If you are a Browns fan, maybe if you're a Colorado fan, I ain't got nothing to say to you because, okay, whatever. You just came in because you a Shedeur fan. Okay, that's cool. Like, I ain't really got a problem with you, but like, you ain't who I'm talking to. I'm talking to Browns fans right now, right? But if you are truly a Browns fan, like you care about the Cleveland Browns, and I know people try to throw out litmus test of what's a real Browns fan, what's not. I have a very loose definition for what a Browns fan is. Do you care about the Browns winning football games more than anything else? Right? When it comes to that team, right? If you are somebody who wants to prioritize the Browns' ability to win football games over most things that are reasonable in a football context, then okay. Right? Now, if you're somebody who wants to see Nick Chubb get the rushing record and you're a fan of the Browns because Nick Chubb's on the Browns and that's not the case anymore, now, okay, maybe you're more of a Nick Chubb fan than a Browns fan, but as long as you want the Browns to win games on Sunday, you're probably a Browns fan. And if you are a Browns fan and you are crashing out already in July about what quarterback who's not played a down in the NFL yet is going to save the Cleveland Browns and putting lines in the sand over these things, I ask you to take a step back and actually evaluate if this is making you enjoy football at all. Because I've been there. I've been in those trenches. I've been the kid online crashing out for whatever young quarterback. I've been there. I've been one of y'all. I know it's not a fun place to be at. You're constantly arguing. The team wins, but the team don't win the way you wanted them to win. So now you mad. Team won the damn game, but you mad about it. Right? How many people didn't get to enjoy 2023 until Deshaun Watson got injured for the season? I remember covering that season. It was a lot of y'all who could not enjoy that season because Deshaun was getting some credit that year. And then vice versa, there were a lot of Deshaun stans that couldn't enjoy the rest of 2023 because it was Joe Flacco getting the spotlight. Was that shit fun? Browns win 11 games twice in your lifetime, and both those times you probably spun angry because you didn't like the guy at quarterback for whatever reason. I ain't saying you got to be a fan of whoever emerges as the Cleveland Browns quarterback, but don't put yourself in a position where you're going to root against what could be the possible answer for the Cleveland Browns at quarterback. Because that's going to strip any enjoyment you get from actually rooting for this team. What did you watch all of these losses for over the last 25 years if you're going to put yourself in a position where an answer finally comes along and you don't like it because you wanted somebody else to be the guy? Like, really? I ain't gonna do that to myself, right? I want the Browns to find a quarterback answer. I want them to be in a position. And once these guys get on the field, put a track record together, we can start evaluating whether they could be the answer. Then we can have some debates about whether the team should move on with them or keep going with these guys. But until we get to that point, there ain't no reason to be crashing out over any of these quarterbacks because they have not done anything to deserve your loyalty at this point. They have done nothing. Let them earn your loyalty before you go out and you just serve it to them on a golden platter. Like, let them do something. Like, as much beef as I had with Baker Mayfield stands over the years, at least I can acknowledge that Baker did some shit that, like, earned that loyalty from Browns fans. Was it enough for the level of loyalty demonstrated? That's debatable. But Baker at least did the shit, right? He won a playoff game. He had a really good season in 2020. You know, I don't love stands in general. I'm not a really stand-based kind of guy, but I understand why the loyalty exists for him. Right now, we got loyalty over quarterbacks that ain't done shit in this uniform. I don't understand it. Just let's see how this plays out. If somebody emerges that is deserving of that loyalty and has earned it based on their play on the field as a member of the Cleveland Browns, then we can talk about it. But that's my 2 cents. That's my hot take. Maybe it's just a hot rant. I don't know what it is, what to call it. But I've noticed this out here. And this is part of warning, part me just venting, right? And if you see yourself as somebody who might potentially be in a position not to enjoy if a quarterback that you're not supporting right now becomes the answer, ask yourself if that's really where you want to be at. Do you want to be outside the club if the Browns get a quarterback because you decided to be in the club early for whatever reason for somebody else? Like, y'all trying to go to the club. It's noon. Y'all trying to get me to commit to the club. I'm going to just get down to the street where the clubs are, see what the vibes are, and then go into the one that's popping. Because why would I have to have loyalty over something like that right now? You do not need to give loyalty to any of these quarterbacks right now. Let them earn it. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.